Alright, started off day 7, Horde night day, on the roof of the house that I'd raided the night before. I had made no preparations for Horde night, so I immediately got to work. I rushed over to the trader to turn in my mission. Made sure to shut the door. I went to get my reward.
Hey, be quick about your bit.
Really wasn't great options. I chose the book even though I'd already read it for the data points. Research data. Grabbed another mission to do after Horde Night was over. Do on day 8.
Can you do something for me? Good luck. I think you're gonna need it.
There wasn't anything in the vending machine, so I went to see Raiden. He happened to have some shotgun ammo, so I grabbed some of that. Not a lot, but hopefully it would be enough to help take care of the zombies for Horde Night. Ended up with 28 total shotgun shells to last me through Horde Night. Now I knew I had all of the materials I needed to make the artisan's table, but I still took the long way back to the house hoping to find some more tree stumps and honey from my infection, which was getting worse. While taking the long way, I noticed off in the distance there was a lake or ocean to the north. I was going to have to look into that a little bit more. Missing with that first power attack with the sword was not good. But overall, the sword was working quite well. So as I was heading back to the base, I noticed this brick building that looked interesting. And as I was looking at it, I realized it was a lumber yard. And then it also made me realize that the lumber yard had tree stumps around it from where the logs or trees had been chopped down. So I went to take advantage of that. And sure enough, there were several tree stumps around the lumberyard. Backed into every one I could find. Raided the little guardhouse, got some mineral water. I think in the end I wound up with enough honey for 5 jars. It was really a good find. Not enough to completely cure my infection, but help it out a lot. Made it back to the base around 1 p.m. and I knew I had to get to work on my artisan's table so I could make some stone blocks and do some work on those the stairway leading up. I was going to be using that for my horde base. Get some food because I was starving to death. Sure enough, I had enough honeycomb to make 5 jars of honey, which would reduce my infection by 25%. Again, not all of it, but a good chunk of it. Now, really, you really want to make the artisan's table as quickly as possible. You normally wouldn't want to be making the artisan's table on day 7. If you can have the artisan's table by day 2 or 3, so you can start prepping a horde base or enforcing your home base where your workbenches are. That's better. Also, with the artisan's table, you need that to make your furnace. So with the furnace, you can make your iron bars, then eventually make your blacksmith forge to make your iron plates, so you can repair your iron weapons and armor. So with the artisan's bench now made, I could make stone shapes, stone frames out of large stone and clay. I had plenty of clay. So I made some of those. And I decided to take out these the stairs here, the metal stairs, because of the railings on the side. If I left them like they were, the zombies would crowd together and pile up, and those rails would kind of keep them jammed together. Might make it easier for them to squeeze through the bars I was going to be making to fight them at the top of the stairs. But without the rails, when I hit them, or I mean even when they kind of stumble into each other, they could fall over the side, or I could hit them and knock them off the stairs. So that was kind of my plan there. Use these double bars at the bottom. That way, if you have a spear, you could poke at the zombies that are down low. You could shoot through the bars. You can use your club if their head peeks through. It just leaves you with more options, yet it's still a strong block. The zombies can't squeeze through that. I did only put 1 bar at the top, hoping to make that top half not quite a full block in height, so they shouldn't be able to squeeze through that. That was pretty much it for the stone I had. Probably gonna have to go out and get some more. Made a few wood frames to have backup. And then I needed a wooden hammer for upgrading and repairing. Made myself a wooden hammer. I didn't have a claw hammer yet, so this was the next best thing. They aren't great, but it would work for the first horde night. So since I wanted to have some extra stone for repairing and upgrading, I decided to head out with less than 2 hours, or less than 3 hours before the horde night started, and get some stone. I also decided to go ahead and clear out some of the clay tarps that were down on the first floor. Figure if the zombies were kind of rushing through here, they might break things anyway. So I wanted to grab this stuff before they broke it and it was gone. Knew there was some open land to the south of the paper mill. So I headed south to check that out. I'd forgotten, to the north of the paper mill, I'd already started my own little mine that had that would have large stone in it, but I'll use that again later. Now there are only 2 hours left until Horde Night. Time is flying by. There's another one of the farms, like the one I'd stayed at the night before. Not bad loot there. Some sort of big factory in ruins over there. Here's a big boulder. If I had more time, I could just mine down and hit the level of rock that's maybe three blocks down from the surface. Just have all the stone I could need, but since I was in a rush, I just had to find some of these boulders lying around and get what I could. I was happy I'd at least made the beginnings of the Horde base, even if that was all I was going to have. I think it would at least work okay, but with these extra stones, it would really help out a lot. Okay, and as I came to the last boulder, it was 9 o'clock. I did check this little corner stand here. There wasn't anything good. Not any good seeds or anything like that. So I headed back to the base. With about 15 minutes left, I decided to repair everything. So repair my armor, repair all my weapons. Get prepared for the Horde. I wasn't able to repair the weapons. I needed pipes. I mean, I had some pipes, but not enough. And that reminded me that I hadn't looted a wrench yet. Those wrenches are really important. We're already on day 7 and I hadn't found a wrench yet. And I'd probably done 4 or 5 missions, so I was kind of surprised. Stun baton was broken. Really didn't have any other weapons or ammo to use, so I just kept what I had and got ready for the Horde to come up the stairs. First party girl, first to the party. Working really well. It was dishing out that blood damage, and since I'd put in a couple perks into the sword and into agility, it was doing a bit more damage. Really getting those headshots was key. I decided to use the knife a little bit too. It used a lot less stamina, but it did still cause a bleed, and it did pretty good damage. Did want to make sure they weren't finding another way around, but I don't think there was any other way up from the floor, from the ground level. Decided to add some blocks up top. As it was right now, if the zombies started stacking up right at that opening, they could hop right over those bars. So throw up a couple wood blocks just to keep them from stacking up. Good timing too, right there. That Mo would have popped right over. He hadn't taken any damage yet, and he would have been right on top of my head. I'm really not much for using guns as much as possible. I was happy to grab some more shotgun shells in that little zombie loot there, in case I needed it. But I wasn't big on using guns. I'm not big on using guns because then you have the pressure to keep up with the ammo. You gotta make ammo, find ammo, parts, get the brass, get the gunpowder. The more you can rely on melee weapons, the better off you are. Okay, this crowd was getting a little too much. Fully guess whatever was blocking them getting through, they got it out of the way. So between using the knife, the sword, the oar, and the shotgun, I was in fine shape. It seemed like they were massing up a little more than before. The knife to get them all bleeding. Then hit him with the ore. First I'm out of stamina, bring on the shotgun. I kept hearing the breaking board sound and I wasn't sure where that was coming from. I was worried it was coming from maybe the stairs they were on or the wall beside them. But no, it was actually that door to my left. As we were fighting, I don't know if I was hitting it on accident or if the zombies were able to hit it from where they were. Like they were missing me and hitting the door, but somehow that door was taking a good amount of damage. It was pretty see-through by the end of the night. Clear things up a little bit again. We don't want them to get too crowded right in that front section. See, she somehow squeezed through. The more they crowd up, the more they'll go for the block above the opening, the blocks to the side, the blocks underneath, and then the more they pile up, the more they kind of squish each other and can help each other squeeze through smaller areas like that upper section of my horde base where I mean, we know for a fact it's less than one frame, one block in height, but somehow they managed to squeeze through it anyway. sword was really working to kind of balance out. Swing some with the knife, with the sword, with the oar. Try to get the levels of each of those weapons, or using each of those weapons up. I know the first Horde Knight is one of the easiest, or is the easiest one, but it was still very nice to see how well this was working. I can easily see expanding on this. And of course upgrading it all, get it all up to brick, concrete. So there, I heard the wood break on the door again, but I hadn't realized that either I was breaking the door or the zombies were. So I thought maybe there was a zombie that was on the other side of the door that had gotten through somehow. I quickly realized that wasn't the case. I took out a few. In order to hit their head, I was aiming kind of high. Unfortunately, aiming a little bit too high. I was missing a lot of pretty decent shots. Sounds like things have slowed down, but I did still hear a zombie or some zombies being on something. Might have been just stuck down on the first floor. I think she was the last one. So I was very pleased at how well that went. I decided to check on the side. I was still suspicious as, what had broken that door. If it had been a zombie, a bird, what had busted through. But when I realized nothing had, then I figured that either I was damaging it with my swing or the zombies were damaging it with their swing unintentionally. Only that one loot bag had dropped for the night. There was no other loot. I recalled I still had some cement on me. It looks like some of the sections of the wall were made of brick that could be upgraded to cement, concrete. I had left a gap in these stairs, thinking, maybe if things went bad, I could hop up there and, the zombies wouldn't be able to follow me. They wouldn't jump the gap. But again, everything went fine, so I went ahead and filled in that step. Now I had a permanent horde base, so if the zombies just chose to come after me at night, if they did happen to hear me working up here on the top floor and come after me, I'd have a place to fight them going forward. If I was out in the parking lot doing something and they attacked, I was ready for them and ready for day 8.